If you want to know how I'm doing with my Slay My Samples stash project, then stick around. I have a big update for you on this round 7 of Slaying My Samples stash. And I am going to, without further ado, show you the box. And it looks something like this. I don't want it to tip all over. And it's a bit of a mess, but it's a lot smaller than it was before. I don't know if you can see, there's a lot more room. And I want to explain what I mean by that. And you'll see a bunch of samples up here that were not in the box last time. So there's a bit of a story with this box. Let me just put it down for a sec. I have talked about the fact that I like to share samples and deluxe samples with friends and family. And I very often prepare little gift bags for folks, just knowing what kind of makeup and skincare they tend to use or have an idea. I'll prepare something and then just give them a little bit of a goodie bag. Well, I had a very different opportunity recently. Right on our street is a family member, and he was having a St. Patrick's Day event, and I did a special makeup for that event. I'll put the video right there. Anyway, I ended up spending the whole evening with family and extended family. And in that group, there were a couple of young ladies who, adults, but still, you know, who doesn't like to play with makeup. And when I found out that they were pretty much into makeup, I came over because, again, very close proximity to our house. I came back here and set up a goodie bag for each of them of some deluxe samples, a lot of lip products and some liners and that kind of thing. And also decided to bring the shoebox of samples and just let them walk through it and figure out what they wanted. And boy, did they go ham. They took lip samples and foundation samples and eyebrow samples, and they took so much stuff. But they were super excited about it. It was almost like Christmas. And they really worked through it diligently, both of them, and took out what it is that they wanted to try or products that they know they love and wanted to use more of. And to me, that was fantastic. So it got picked over quite a bit, but I would say that all the products that were selected went to a good home, because as opposed to samples that you have to pick from a short list, these ladies went through the box methodically and looked at products that they would want to, again, try, or products that they know they already love and know they're going to use. So I was really, really happy with that. And even got the comment, why aren't you using this? It's quantity, right? Quantity and time, and at one point you just don't get to things. Plus, to me, samples are sealed, so it's not a panic to get into it. Well, so the box was getting pretty empty. But there was something else going on as well, which is that I have some glass jars at the back here. You can see a bunch. And one of them was filled with deluxe samples that I hadn't put in this box for some reason. Well, that's what you'll see up here. And I was keeping them aside for a few reasons. Some of them because I'm going to do a skincare focus on certain brands. But I thought, really, it doesn't make sense for these products to be out of the box. They should be in this box along with everything else. Even if I'm not planning on using them right away, they have a specific purpose, they are still a sample. And I think that one thing that I learned, that I explained in round 6, was that I need to just put new samples in the box as I get them. Luckily this year I won't be getting very many, although I did just get some, but that's a whole other story. And And so I do want to just put them in the box as I receive them. And if I'm doing well, the quantity should keep going down. It should never go up by a ridiculous amount again. I think I've learned my lessons. It was just too much. And so, yeah, I have a new starting point with those new samples added in, but with a swath of samples that have walked out the door and gone to a, as I called it before, a good cause. So I'm pretty happy with that. And as I mentioned, there were a bunch of deluxe items like lip products and whatnot that would not have been in this box, because any sort of deluxe samples, the bigger size lip products and whatnot, are usually in my train case. So yeah, that is, oh, and if you want to see the backups in my train case, I'll just put the video here. That is the long and short of the samples, and I will have the weight comparison before and after of all those changes for beginning of March and now beginning of April. And you will see a very significant gram difference between the box before and after. It's insane this month. But yeah, it was for good reason, the right thing to do, and I'm really happy I did. And I have to admit, there were a couple things that went out of the box and I went, oh, okay, that's going. Oh, okay, that's going. They knew their stuff. They knew what was the good stuff and what was the not so good stuff. So kudos to them for selecting wisely. And so I need to go over my empties, which they're rather paltry, but as you can tell though, the box was picked over and well used this month. And that's the whole point, is for samples to dwindle in my collection. And so I consider it a win, despite the fact that there are not very many in here. But speaking of, let's get into it. And before I do, I just want to talk about this one, because in my Slaying My Samples stash, I have the box and I also have this jar. And this jar is full of perfume samples. A lot of them still in the carton, and then a lot of them that didn't fit in with the carton that are just loose on the top here. Well, I did some damage in here as well, and so I will have the weight of these jars in this video as well, so you can see the difference. So let's get into what I used up in these samples. Compared to the 30 I used last month, I only have 8 samples. And I was using a lot of deluxe products from Origins. If you look at my Empties video, you will see them there. And so that kind of explains why there weren't as many samples this month. But what a great month to have my box picked over. It just kind of balances things out. Let's go with hair products first. I did finish the BB Curl Style Anti-Humidity Gel Oil, and this is from Bumble and Bumble. And I don't have super curly hair. I have more wavy hair, and so I do find that this product leaves my hair more crunchy than anything. But if I am just letting it air dry, somehow I'm okay with using it. I have another big one of these, and I will definitely use that one as well. It's not my favorite product, but again, I don't think my hair type is the perfect candidate for this. But like I said, I will still use the other one that I have. Next up, I have, I had just the one left, which is the Dermalogica Daily Microfoliant. I had used 2 or 3 other packages of this last month, and this is the last little loner that was left. I like this product, but I don't think it's a product that I would purchase. It's just kind of dry, gritty, and I think that I would rather use a cream-based exfoliant, abrasive exfoliant, as opposed to this. It was like really, really fine powder with a little bit of grit, which of course that's why it's a daily product, but I don't think I'd want to add that to my routine on a daily basis. So just my thoughts. And I also finished this Dr. Roebucks Hydrating Face Moisturizer, which was no problem. It was it's called No Worries. It was perfectly fine. I don't love it. I don't hate it. I just think it was a typical moisturizer, and it was 15 ml, and I'm happy to have used it. Another moisturizer that I got was 8 ml of the Nivea Care Intensive Nourishment Non-Greasy Cream, and again, it was fine. I used it for a few days. There's just a decent amount. I used it for a few days and I don't know, 3 or 4 days. And it was, like I said, it was fine. Just like the Dr. Roebucks, it's an okay product. I also finished my last blister pack of the Hi-Fi Shine lip gloss by Urban Decay. I am mourning this. This is my last one. They last about 2 to 4 days, depending how many times you reapply. They're wonderfully comfortable on the lips. They have a minty feel. They're very flattering on the lips. I've liked all of them. I've liked the Naked, this one is called, I like this one, Obsessed, and Snapped is my favorite. They're all beautiful, and I also enjoyed Back Talk. I am definitely going to be buying these when I need to replenish my lip glosses, but for now, if you look at my lipstick and lip glosses collection, I have a way to go before I need anything else. And speaking of Hi-Fi Shine, I also finished this one. This one was in Naked, and it was, is there even a size on here? No, it doesn't say how much there is, but it was a deluxe sample. And yeah, I enjoyed using it. I really, really enjoyed using it. And as you can tell, I scraped a lot to try to get as much of this lip gloss out as possible. And I also finished 3 perfumes this month. I finished 2 of the Miss Dior. I don't really care for it. I think it's an average perfume. Nothing to write home about. In my opinion, for my body chemistry, it's nothing special. And then I finished the Tory Burch. I actually finished it just yesterday, conveniently enough, March 31st. And so I'm very happy to have finished 3 of these, and I have cracked open, no, I haven't. I was going to start using it and I put it back in here. The next one I'm going to be using is the Sugar Eau de Parfum from Fresh. And it looks like it's a pretty big sample. 1.6 mil or 0.05 fluid ounces. Anyway, this is the next one I want to use, but I put it back in here because I wanted to make sure that I didn't overstate the difference in weight for this jar. So now that I have already weighed this jar, so I can take it out, and that will be the first product out of this perfume jar that I'm using for April. As a matter of fact, let me use it right now because I did not put any perfume on today after my shower. So, oof, it's very pungent. We'll see if I like it. But anyway, that is the first one I'm going to be using this month. So there you go. Now, I have yacked a whole bunch, and what I want to offer is the progress pictures, and you can take a look at those. There is going to be a few months worth of scale weights for the sample box, and you will see as well the couple of months for the perfume jar as well, and you will see the change in weight. And there is obviously, based on what I said, a significant change for my shoebox, and also an okay change, small but okay change on the perfume jar, because I did manage to use 3 samples of the perfume. I used more samples than that, but of the perfume I used 3 samples. And am I hoping to use more samples this coming month? Of course. I think that, what was it, 8, 7, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 samples is still not a whole lot, and I would like to get it at least in the double digits, but I think that 30 was my hope for monthly samples. And well, I'm not going to have my shoebox picked over every month by a bunch of people, so I'd better step it up for the month of April. We'll see how I do. that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed the progress pictures. I do look forward to seeing you in the next video to report a higher use of samples. But for now, take care.